前回までのまとめですけど、分かってることを教えてください。
はい。まずこの女性はサイモン・スミスと結婚していた。
はい。
で、その上司のエリックやら、その嫁のダイアンやら出てきたけど、そんなところと全然関係なく、
ほ
もともとこの女性は双子で、
はい。
でも死んだものと扱われて、フローレンスという助産師に引き取られた。
はい。
で、そこでイブと呼ばれて、み
はい。
たいな。
どういうところでございますね。分かりました。
は
さあ、まだまだ謎は深まるこの物語。続きまして何を調べましょうか。
じゃあさっきからちょっとずつワードが出てた日記を。
日記、分かりました。
日記の内容が知りたいんだけどな。
新しいのは3つですね。いきます。
はい。
No, he doesn't keep a diary. That's my thing. I've kept one, well, as long as I can remember, since I was a girl. Helps make sense of my day. And when you're forced to put something into words, just gives you perspective. Everyone's on the same page.
では
関係なかっ
続きま
た。はい。
When I was 8, Mother died. She slipped down the stairs. It was an accident. I had read a diary at that point and I knew she wasn't my real mother. So I burned the diary that day and I left. Walked out and across the street.
ほう。ほら、びっくりした。なんだなんだ。
では続きましていきます。
I'm not sure where the dollhouse came from. I don't know if it was given to them or they inherited it. I mean, they wouldn't have had the money to buy it. It was so huge. It must have been taken up to the attic in parts and then reassembled up there. It's a beautiful thing. Wallpaper to scale, little furniture, the lights work, mirrors, beds, big duvets and pillows. We spent hours and hours playing in it, invented all these characters and families who lived there. We wrote paperwork for them all, passports, diaries, gave them all really elaborate stories. Once, a moth got trapped in there. We'd left a light on. It was making the most horrendous noise. We tried to kill it, but it was tough. We ended up crushing it under a copy of the Arabian Nights.
さあどうしましょう。
日記燃やしちゃったんだ。さっきの何ですか？
なんでしょ
そんなのがあるなんて聞いてないんですけど。めっちゃびっくりした。
う。ね、僕もあれ見たときは、これホラーかと思ってめちゃくちゃ怖かった。ホラーなのかどうなのかもまだ分かりませんが、続きましていきましょ
うわー。向かいとかでもいけるんですかね。
これですね。
はい。
一件ですね。もう見てます。
何を検索しよ
じゃあ一つヒントをあげましょう。
はい。
ワードはスペースでもう一個検索することもできます。
なるほど。
そうだからさっきサイモンの場合やったら52やったんですけど、サイモンと何かを調べることによって絞ることができるかもしれないです。
じゃあ、
はい。
ちょっとね、関係性が知りたいので、
はい。
サイモンと花を。
サイモンと花を。
はい。
これですね。
はい。
4本。じゃあ見ていきます。
はい。
Differences? She's a better driver than me. She passed the test for us. I tried to take it and nearly crashed the car. learned that you can't rely on confidence to get you through everything. She is the shy one. She was especially shy around boys. If Hannah liked a boy, I would have to pursue him. It was that way with Carl. Hannah met him first. She had such a crush. I let him take my virginity after a night that his band had played at. It got difficult. When I was with Carl, we would have sex, but Hannah couldn't let him see she was a virgin. She had lots of excuses. After a while, we decided that I should take Hannah's virginity. It's not that different to a bruise, pulling a tooth, a graze. We used a hairbrush. After that, we took it in turns, though I was always the one who seduced the boys. Until Simon.
生々しいわ。
ね、少し生々しい話でした。続きまして。
Hannah was so smitten with Simon. She started getting jealous, didn't want to share. Even the first date, we went to see Tom Cruise at the Old Odeon. We both went, kept changing places in the toilet. We only had one best dress, so we had to keep swapping clothes. Must have thought we had terrible bladder problems. The next date, it was my turn. At the end, I let him kiss me, but that was it. We didn't want another Carl on our hands, and the Ouija board had said to hold back. After that, it was Hannah's turn, and she slept with him. Broke the rules. Deliberately broke the rules. She wanted to be the first to sleep with him. I mean, that's when she got pregnant. From that one time.
うえ、
続きましていきます。
No. The parents decided there would be a wedding. And after the wedding, Hannah moved in with his parents. There was no way I could follow. So we were separated again. I stayed in the attic. It was hard. It's like I suddenly didn't exist. I would sneak out, but in case anyone recognized me, I started wearing a wig. Hannah and I would meet up in the park. I was trying to get pregnant. But I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't do it with anyone we knew, so it was sex with strangers. Drunk guys I'd met in clubs, in parks and alleyways. I was 17. It felt like I was being punished. But it was Hannah who had betrayed us. I had to stop when one of the guys gave me an STD. When we met up, it was disturbing. For the first time, my reflection, she didn't look like me. She was fatter, flushed. If anything, I was getting skinnier. I found it hard to look sometimes. We talked about what to do. Was it time to become our own people? I mean, that seemed like the right thing to do, but neither of us wanted it. We agreed that her and Simon would get their own place as soon as possible, and then I could move in. And that was the plan.
お
では続きまして。
はい。
Hannah had a miscarriage. This was late in the pregnancy and it left her infertile. Felt like the universe had corrected its course. We were aligned again. But Hannah and Simon were still living with his parents. They were married. a job at the Glaziers now. Eric had given him a full-time position after he left school. And then
あ
さあどうしましょ
なるほど。花と、重い。
う。どうしましょ
じゃあ、花とイブで。
う。はい。1本ですね。いきます。
Mum and Dad had never had any reason to notice. They were always busy. If Hannah was eating a lot, they didn't mind. She didn't put on any weight. That girl has a healthy appetite. If they heard us talking in the attic, they just thought it was Hannah playing one of her games, and that Eve was our imaginary friend. Once, she was already up and dressed and ready to go to school, and I snuck down for a piss. Mum saw me in my underwear, she went mad. Get dressed this instant! So I ducked into our bedroom, and seconds later, out came Hannah, dressed and ready. Mum was amazed.
おおえ
反応がおもろい。
このパソコンを見ている自分
さあどうなんでしょう。さあどうしましょ
じゃあ、サイモンとイブで。
う。はい。
なるほど。花とイブは
一件ですね。
同じに。最初の方に出てきたヘレンを。
ヘレン。
はい。
1件ですね。
はい。
No. I think he spoke to Helen. She said he was upset about our argument, but I'm not sure what else he said. He likes Helen. He likes blondes.
さあどうしましょう。
なるほど。でもサイモンを深掘りしたいから、
はい。
サイモンと、じゃあエリック。
エリック。
はい。
3件ヒットしましたね。
はい。
いきます。
Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I had to park down the end of the road. Walked up, knocked on the door, no answer. I took my keys out of my bag and unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. You can tell because the key doesn't turn when you try to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes in the shoe rack. I shouted out. I walked straight into the kitchen because he usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper, but he wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly in the living room. Nothing. So I walked upstairs to the bedroom. He wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. I had a shower. The phone rang whilst I was in the shower. I didn't answer it. I think it was Eric. Then I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, though I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. This time I spoke to him. Then I called Doug and Eleanor. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough?
では次いきます。
はい。
Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I parked down the end of the road. I walked up to the house. I knocked on the door. No answer. I took my keys out of my bag, unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. I could tell because the key wouldn't turn when I tried to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes on the shoe rack. I shouted out for him. I walked straight into the kitchen. He usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper. He wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly into the living room. Nothing. I walked upstairs to the bedroom. He wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. Then I had a shower. Whilst I was in the shower, the phone rang. I think it was Eric, his boss. I didn't answer it. Then I came out and I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, but I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. I spoke to him. Then I called Simon's parents. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough?
うん。
では次行きます。
And the Glaziers. I worked there some weekends and Simon had a part-time job there too. That was Eric's generosity. He was always good at helping out other people's children. Simon was quiet, more thoughtful than the other boys. Even then, he had a sense of craftsmanship. Wasn't always rushing stuff. Boys that age are just running around like headless chickens most of the time. You know? Plus, he had that look. He looked like a fairy tale prince from one of my books.
さあどうしましょう。ちなみにここまでで分かったこととかありますか？
はい。
はい、どうぞ。
もしかしてこの女性って
はい。
一人じゃないのでは？
なるほど。
受け答えをしてる女性ってもしかして。
ちなみにそれはなぜそう思ったんですか？
喋ってる内容が、
はい。
自分とイブの時と自分と花の時があって、
ああ、なるほど。
それっておかしくないって思って聞いてたら、
ああ、
と思ったんですが。
なるほどです。他に分かったことなどはありますでしょうか？
わかりません。
わかりました。じゃあ調べていきましょう。
調べましょう。
いよいよ事件の核心に迫ったか？次回に続きます。